According to Mark. The apostles gathered together with Jesus and reported all they had done and taught. He said to them, "Come away by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while." People were coming and going in great numbers, and they had no opportunity even to eat. So they went off in the boat by themselves to a deserted place. People saw them leaving, and many came to know about it. They hastened there on foot from all the towns and arrived at the place before them. When he disembarked, he saw the vast crowd, and his heart was moved with pity for them, for they were like sheep without a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. The gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. One night, Jesus and Peter were sitting at a pub having a few beers, just hanging out, catching up, because Peter had just been sent out with his bros to do good and to preach the good news and announce the kingdom that Jesus had been teaching them about and showing them. They have only just returned from this charge, and Peter was breathless, telling Jesus all that had happened while they were out there working for him. "Jesus, you won't believe what happened." And the look on their faces, "Oh my God." Oops, sorry, Jesus. People were just so grateful to us. People were coming out of the woodwork to listen to what we were doing and see what we're doing and listen to our words. There were so many needs starting to surface. We helped so many people. And by the way, when it was over, we took up a collection for the ministry. Made up the last part. Jesus was so happy for them. Jesus high-fived Peter several times in the conversation. And he said to him, "Peter, that's awesome. Good job. You did it. Now let's go take a nap." Now, if Peter's anything like me in that moment, he would have protested. "Jesus, we're on a roll. We can't stop now. I drew up all these plans about where we need to go next and what we need to do and how to do it even better next time." And Jesus responds to Peter, "Stop. Not now. It's time to take a break." I have great memories of wonderful summer days when I couldn't wait to get outside and play. Some of those days it seemed my mom couldn't wait to close the door behind me so she could lie down on the couch and close her eyes for a bit. "What? Mom, take a nap on a beautiful day like this? Take a nap when nobody's even forcing you to?" It seemed really crazy to me. Taking a nap is a radical act. Taking a nap is a radical act. Taking a break from our work for 20 minutes or a 10-day vacation, much less a retreat, is a radical act. Next week, I'll be going on my annual 5-day retreat. I'll be doing nothing for 4.5 of those days but sitting and thinking and walking and thinking. Make no mistake about it. I love what I do, but I also love when I don't do it. It is hard for many of us to prioritize rest and restoration. And it is precisely because the choice is so difficult that I believe it is such an important one, even a radical one. But wait, our egos crow. What about the work that is good and helpful? What about the needs of our world that are clamoring for a response? Somebody has to be the hands and feet of Christ. God is not a workaholic. God is not a workaholic. God sets the precedent here. Stemming from Genesis, God took a rest after the work of creation and specifically blessed a day for humans to do the same. Sabbath reminds us that being human is about way more than doing more work. Even God looks forward to that tranquil hour when the sheep are in the meadow and the couch is free. Jesus did it too. He followed a full day of labor for the sake of the kingdom with getaway time. It helps us to detach from our self-serving workaholisms that are so prized in our culture. So often we boast about how busy we are, how much we've done. The culture seems to prize workaholism. True rest, even a nap, brings balance to our work. The ability to respond instead of react. Listen rather than proclaim. Wait and watch rather than anticipate and control. True rest for 20 minutes or 10 days is a chance to establish deeper roots. It's a chance for the roots to go deeper in our life. And science is confirming this. Science is telling us if we don't sleep on it, we lose it. We lose it. Our experiences will not be plumbed. All those hours of study, if they're not followed by a nap or a good night's sleep, much of that information is lost to us unless we have a rest where it can sink in and take root and become a part of us. This explains so many of my failing grades in college. Rest and sleep allow our deepest insights to take root in us and become part of who we are and influence our choices down the road. And it can also help us keep our successes, Peter and the bros, to keep our successes in perspective. Sleep and rest can help us leave our egos behind. We start to think we are the responsible ones. We have the responsibility for the needs of the world all around us. And this can test our egos mightily, especially on those days when everything is working out just as we planned, or even those days where we can't seem to get anything right. We might begin to be tempted by the idea that we control it all. We're in charge. And that's precisely when we need to find a place to kick up our feet and take a rest. To reflect so that we can be sure to remember who God is and who God is not. Who has given us this newly discovered power to have an impact that can so quickly go to our heads. And whose mission it is, anyway, that we are trying to carry out. Otherwise, my friends, and you know it as well as I, it just gets to be too much about us unless we take a nap. A real vacation or staycation widens our lens. It helps us to surrender our designs and our plans, however well-intentioned and good they may be. It gives us permission to allow a power greater than ourselves to have some say in our lives. And it keeps us from taking ourselves too seriously, and even the world too seriously. I know things are crazy right now in our country and on the world scene. Things are crazy, and our brains are reeling from all this. And so many people have reported absolute discouragement at the tension and the fighting in our country between peoples. I know things are really crazy, and so we get this anxiety that we should be doing something and doing something more, or just talking about it and complaining about it even, and that's all the more reason to take a nap. Take a nap. Take a breath. Put your feet a little higher than your heart. My mom used to always lay on the living room floor, my dad alongside of her, fell asleep on the living room floor with their feet up on the sofa. That's how they took a nap. Go figure. And can I just say, and you guys know this as well as I do, even the earth is allowed to rest. Your backyard garden can teach you this. Relentless production exhausts the earth. Why would we expect our souls to be any different? Dorothy Day, whom you've all probably heard of, she's a candidate for sainthood, actually. And as a matter of fact, a sidebar is she came to the